from the Harris-Walz campaign, especially in light of recent reporting by Michael Schmidt and in The Atlantic. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It's Thursday, October 24th. Along with Joe, Willie, and me, we have the host of Way Too Early, White House bureau chief at Politico, Jonathan Lemire, NBC News national affairs analyst and a partner and chief political columnist at Puck, John Heilman, CEO of the Messina Group, Jim Messina. He served as White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President Obama and ran his 2012 re-election campaign. And also with us, U.S. Special Correspondent for BBC News, Katty Kay is with us. Good to have you all this morning. Joe, the polls are showing, once again, a very close race, but the final messages are beginning to emerge.
Breaking news, this race is now a tie. And so it's interesting, conservatives don't support Donald Trump. So they probably are thinking Harris is going to win. But Trump Republicans will look at the polls they want to look at. Harris supporters will look at the polls that they want to look at. But I just want to say there's been some chatter about this October surprise, that maybe it was Michael Schmidt's reporting or Jeffrey Goldberg's reporting that was an October surprise. Maybe it was that Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist, or maybe more importantly, it was Donald Trump's longest serving chief of staff, who was a general, a highly respected general whose son gave his life to America in defense of America and who's committed his entire life to defending this nation, who said that Donald Trump was, yes, indeed, a fascist. And also the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Donald Trump's last chairman of the Joint Chiefs, said Donald Trump was a fascist to the core. Those aren't really the October surprises. The October surprises, Willie, are not what everybody else is saying about Donald Trump. And I understand there's some pathetic people out there.
Yep.
Some pathetic people that are trying to cozy up to Donald Trump, who are trying to blame Jeffrey Goldberg or trying to blame General Kelly for a, quote, October surprise that they're making up. Of course, imagine that. People actually questioning the integrity of those two, questioning the integrity of General Kelly. But no, those aren't the October surprises. The October surprises are what Donald Trump says and what he has said every time he has opened his mouth. The October surprise is that Donald Trump has said he's going to arrest his Democratic opponents. The October surprise is that Donald Trump has said he's going to use the Army and he's going to use the National Guard against his political opponents. That's the October surprise. The October surprise is that Donald Trump has called Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, called his Democratic opponents the enemies from within. The October surprise has been that Donald Trump has said that Democrats and people in the press who do not support him are the enemy from within and more dangerous to America. He has said it. He has said it. Not me, not Kamala Harris, not General Kelly, not Michael Schmidt, and not Jeffrey Goldberg, but it's Donald Trump who has said that Nancy Pelosi is more of an enemy to America than Kim Jong-un, than Xi, than Putin, and all the other communist leaders and dictators that want to destroy America. Willie, that's the October surprise, and that's Donald Trump's biggest problem right now.
An October surprise that is not at all surprising from Donald Trump, because it's the kind of rhetoric we've been hearing consistently, but you're right that he has dug in much deeper on it and given repeated opportunities to say, no, I was speaking off the cuff, or I didn't mean that. He's making very clear that that's what he believes, that the military may be used and may be deployed against people he views as enemies of the country, people like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi that you're talking about. And these comments put together with what we heard from General Kelly, as you said, a decorated four-star general, are fodder for Vice President Harris. She talked about them in a town hall with CNN last night, trying to make clear the choice here, how stark it is, what the country will look like, how different it may be if he's reelected president versus her being elected president, Mika. And she is, we talked about the campaign of joy coming out of the convention in Chicago and all those things, and that was there, and that was real, and enthusiasm was juiced, and her numbers went way up and have stayed up since then. But now she's really drawing this contrast with 12 days to go of, here's what I believe. You've heard my economic plan. I've made the speeches about how I want to make the country better for you. But let's also consider where this country goes if we head down a different path.
Well, I think what she's doing is two things at once. Her campaign is about joy in America. It is about freedom in America. It is about women who are right now in danger for their lives because of the health care the procedures that Donald Trump has taken away from them. I mean, these are serious issues. She wants to bring that back to, she wants to bring freedom back to women who have lost 50 years of freedoms. It is still an extreme, if you look at their social media outreach, Joe, and you look at the way that they speak, it's a joyful campaign, but it is reflecting off who they are running against. A dark, dismal, fascist, and increasingly obviously fascist person.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty unanimous if you talk to, even if you talk to the foremost expert in fascism in America, a historian who has been around long enough and who initially rejected that label and hates using the label, but now says it fits too tightly, too comfortably on Donald Trump. But this is what I find fascinating, John Heilemann, is that Donald Trump has proven what many libertarians have said all along, and that is that if Donald Trump can take the rights away from women that they have had for 50 years and have the government making decisions over a woman's body, the government, the federal government, saying the state government can now make any decisions they want to make over women's health care, and they take control of a woman's body and take away her health care choices, then libertarians have said if they can do that to women, this federal government that we libertarians don't think can do much right, they can take away my rights too. And in the final weeks of this campaign, Donald Trump has proven these libertarians right. He has said, if you speak out against me, you are the enemy from within. If you are against me politically, then you are the enemy within, and I can use the military and the National Guard against you. If you say something on CBS News, I can take over CBS and shut it down. If you say something on a Comcast network that I don't like, I can take it over and shut you down. Donald Trump has promised. He's promised, after being pushed back on from Fox News hosts, from Laura Ingraham, from Sean Hannity, from Howie Kurtz, saying, oh, you don't mean that, do you? You don't really mean that you're going to arrest your political opponents, do you? Donald Trump said, in effect, yes, sure. Sure, I do. So now we're not only talking about taking away a 50-year right that women had to make health care decisions about their body, we're now talking about Donald Trump taking away the right of people to speak out against him. Donald Trump taking away the right of political people to run in the Democratic Party against him and his policies. And he has promised this repeatedly, even pushed back upon in the final weeks of this campaign. So, yes, this is no longer about women. This is about women and men. This is about health care decisions. This is about free speech. This is about the First Amendment.
Yeah, yes, it's about all those things, Joe. And I think it comes back to this to the discussion that we had on the CNN town hall last night about whether Donald Trump is a fascist, and the thing you just mentioned a second ago. This is constitutional republics are very hospitable to classical liberalism and classical conservatism. They're not hospitable generally towards either communism and the far left authoritarianism, or to fascism and far right authoritarianism. And when you are, if you were trying to run effectively as a consolidator of federal power for your ideological ends, not as someone who kind of wants to disperse federal power and keep the government in check, which is really what classical liberals and classical conservatives want to do. You want instead to take all the power of the state and build something that looks as powerful and as disrespectful of and as willing to trample over basic constitutional rights as what fascism and authoritarianism and autocracies are. That is antithetical to those more classical conceptions. And it makes it clear that we're all in this together, because that's one of the truths about this, is that when you start taking away one kind of right, and the state starts to become so powerful that it doesn't care, it makes no distinctions in the end between men and women, makes no distinctions between health care versus things in criminal justice or things in almost any realm of policy. It's all just about the power of the state under the command of an individual leader, whether that's, again, on the far left or the far right. Donald Trump has kind of gone around the circle now. He's not that far from being far from being what he condemns most, which are kind of communists and socialists.
Coming up, Vice President Kamala Harris will deliver her closing argument next week in Washington at the same spot where Donald Trump spoke before the insurrection on January 6th. We'll get a preview of those remarks from campaign spokesperson Adrian Elrod. That's straight ahead on Morning Joe.
Whether it's your future health, your future income, or your future happiness, becoming an AARP member today can help. Join for just $12 for the first year with automatic renewal and get a second membership free. Plus, you'll receive an insulated trunk organizer. Call or go online today, because the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
When the details take precedence and each piece is crafted with intention, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential, finding sophistication in simplicity. And what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Major breaking news. President Biden has decided to step out of the race, the second apparent assassination attempt on former President Trump.
Israel versus Iran, engaging directly now, Iran retaliating.
The first black and Asian woman to be a major party nominee.
This morning, rescue efforts intensifying across the South.
Abortion is a top issue among young voters.
The DNC
in Israel,
in Atlanta,
at the RNC
from MSNBC World Headquarters.
Nobel Prize-winning economists are backing Vice President Kamala Harris's vision for the economy, calling it vastly superior to the plans laid out by former President Donald Trump. 23 U.S. recipients of the prestigious award have signed a letter serving as a stamp of approval for Harris's economic agenda. According to the group, the vice president's agenda will improve the overall health of the economy, while Trump's policies will greatly increase tariffs, something he